Marsau and LaTisha Holt, who were once considered the rock-solid couple of love and marriage, Huntsville, have been officially kicked off the show, and the reason behind their sudden exit is far more complicated than just another season of drama. It's not just about the usual reality TV conflicts, nor is it just about what we saw on the screen. There's a lot more happening behind the scenes, things that fans and viewers didn't get to see, and now, we're finally hearing the truth about what went wrong. At the beginning of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, Marsau and LaTisha were the foundation of the show. From the very first season, they had this aura of being the power couple that every other couple on the show looked up to. Marsau was the businessman, owning his black cigar lounge, juggling construction projects, and constantly working on his real estate ventures. LaTisha was the supportive wife, not only holding down the home front but also building her own business and furthering her education. Together, they presented an image of black excellence, success, and partnership. For a while, it worked. They seemed like the couple who would go the distance, the ones who would stick around, and the ones producers could rely on for stability and maturity, but as the seasons passed, cracks started to show. The same couple that once helped build the show's foundation was now being pushed out the door. Reports started circulating that Marsau and LaTisha were removed from the cast, and not in the typical exit way. It wasn't just a quiet exit or a graceful departure. It was the result of a lot of behind-the-scenes tension, drama, and issues that had built up over time. Producers had reportedly had enough of their behavior, both on camera and off camera. The decision to remove them wasn't just about creating storylines or stirring up drama. It was about their overall behavior, their attitude, and their inability to cooperate with the team that kept everything running smoothly. To understand how things got to this point, we need to take a look at the events that led up to their departure from the show. The problems with Marsau and LaTisha didn't happen overnight. The cracks in their relationship were visible, and the tension between them was building up for a while. Fans started to notice small moments, things that didn't feel quite right during their interviews or on camera. Marsau would interrupt LaTisha, often talking down to her in a dismissive tone, while LaTisha would laugh it off, but her face said something different. It was clear that something wasn't sitting right, and viewers couldn't help but notice how uncomfortable the dynamic between them had become. As the seasons went on, these subtle tensions started to bubble up. There were moments when LaTisha would get emotional while defending Marsau, but instead of standing by her side, Marsau would deflect, saying that people were just trying to tear them down or that it was all jealousy. The audience wasn't buying it anymore. Fans started to get frustrated, not just with Marsau's behavior, but with the way the couple was handling the accusations of cheating. Every time the rumors came up, Marsau would get defensive, and LaTisha would do the same, even when it was clear that there was tension between them and a real need to address the issues. It was as though they were avoiding transparency, hiding behind excuses, and trying to shift the conversation whenever things got uncomfortable. Behind the scenes, things weren't any better. While the other cast members were opening up about their struggles, Marsau and LaTisha continued to dodge real conversations. They would avoid talking about their personal lives, especially when the rumors about Marsau's alleged infidelity came up. Instead of acknowledging the situation, they would shift the conversation to how the fans and producers were just trying to tear them down. This created an air of frustration among the rest of the cast, and things only got more complicated when Marsau's ego and LaTisha's constant pushback began to drain the production team. Marsau, once the anchor of the show, reportedly became unpredictable. He would show up late to filming, or sometimes not show up at all. When he did arrive, his attitude had shifted. It became clear that he had adopted a take-it-or-leave-it mentality, refusing to cooperate or follow the direction given by producers. He started questioning how scenes were filmed, trying to control the narrative, and even pushing back on certain storylines. Meanwhile, LaTisha was right there with him, arguing with producers over editing choices and even accusing them of favoring other cast members. Instead of trusting the production process, they started challenging it at every turn, but the real breaking point came when their behavior started to impact the other cast members. The tension between Marsau and Melody Sherry, for example, had been simmering for a while, and it only got worse. The fights between them began to disrupt filming, and it got to a point where even group scenes couldn't go smoothly. There were side comments, walkouts, and even shouting matches, which made it increasingly difficult to work with them. LaTisha also had her own issues with Dr. Heavenly Kimes when she appeared on the show, and the tension between them added even more chaos to an already unstable environment that in essence, the set, which used to be a working environment, had become a battleground. Producers were forced to step in multiple times, holding separate meetings just to keep things on track. They tried to mediate the situation, tried to work around the growing tension, but it became clear that the combination of Marsau's ego and LaTisha's constant pushback was too much for the production team to handle. The relationship was no longer sustainable, and the atmosphere on set had become too chaotic to manage, but what really sealed Marsau and LaTisha's fate wasn't just the constant drama, the ego clashes, or the behind-the-scenes issues. There was one specific incident during filming that changed everything. According to sources close to production, there was an altercation between Marsau and a crew member during what was supposed to be a routine scene. What started as a small argument quickly spiraled out of control, turning into a shouting match that went beyond the usual reality TV drama. According to reports, Marsau allegedly disrespected a crew member, using harsh language and possibly even cursing at someone on staff. This incident didn't just escalate tensions with the cast, it caused a major issue with the production team. The altercation didn't make it to air, likely because producers didn't want to air the dirty laundry and risk further damaging the show's brand. However, once legal teams got involved, likely due to crew complaints and internal HR concerns, things took a sharp turn. The network reportedly decided that enough was enough. The contracts were quietly pulled. No big announcements, no public send-off, just an abrupt end to their run on the show. Once news of their exit broke, the internet went wild. Fans were divided. Some people felt that Marsau's behavior had been toxic for years, both toward the cast and his own wife. They pointed to moments from the show where he belittled LaTisha, gaslighted others, or stirred up unnecessary drama without ever taking accountability. These fans believed that the firing was long overdue. Others, however, defended the Scots, claiming that producers had been pushing buttons for seasons, creating drama just to tear them down. They argued that Marsau and LaTisha were set up to fail, and this latest incident was just an excuse to remove them from the show. Meanwhile, gossip blogs ran wild with new allegations about Marsau's infidelity, some even claiming that he had given producers ultimatums about not wanting to film with certain cast members anymore, threatening to walk if things didn't go his way. There were also whispers about LaTisha being difficult behind the scenes, demanding changes to editing and clashing with producers over storylines she didn't agree with. Instead of facing the situation head-on, LaTisha took to social media, posting cryptic messages and vague quotes about loyalty, betrayal, and sticking with the people who truly have your back. However, her posts didn't have the desired effect. Fans quickly flooded her comment sections, calling her out, demanding the truth, and even saying the couple got exactly what they deserved. While social media buzzed with drama and accusations, another storm was brewing: the impact on their businesses. Losing their spot on Love and Marriage, Huntsville was a major blow, but what came next was even worse. Sources revealed that Marsau's construction company, Black Cigar Lounge, and other real estate ventures were facing serious setbacks. Business partners that once aligned with him were now distancing themselves. Deals weren't getting renewed, and phone calls weren't being returned. For anyone in business, that's a major sign that damage has already been done behind the scenes. LaTisha's real estate hustle, which she often showcased as part of her storyline on the show, also seemed to be losing momentum. Clients allegedly backed out of deals, and one local partnership she had been working on fell through right before the deal was supposed to close. Losing the spotlight meant that their image, once built on being the picture of success and black excellence, was now tarnished. They were no longer seen as the inspirational couple. Instead, they were the headline of drama, and not in a good way. So, what's next for Marsau and LaTisha? Well, sources say that the couple isn't giving up just yet. They've reportedly been shopping around ideas for a spin-off or a digital series where they can control their own narrative. Despite everything, they still have fans who believe they were pushed out unfairly and want to hear their side of the story. They could be working on a YouTube series, a podcast, or even a self-funded documentary. Nothing's off the table. However, other insiders claim that the network is completely done with them. Behind closed doors, they are considered too difficult to manage and too risky to bring back in any capacity, especially after the incident with the crew and the growing list of behind-the-scenes problems. Marsau and LaTisha have shown that they're not easily forgotten. Whether it's subtle Instagram posts, indirect tweets, or making public appearances with a smile as if nothing happened, they know how to stay in the conversation. But now, it's clear they have to rebuild their brand from scratch. Without producers editing their scenes or a network to filter their public image, they have to face the music on their own. If their business deals continue to dry up, this won't just be a PR crisis, it will be a financial one too. So, what really led to their downfall? Was it just their attitude, or were Marsau and LaTisha always headed for this kind of fallout? The internet is divided, and the drama is far from over. While it might look like their empire is crumbling, don't count them out just yet. Their story is still being written, and we're all watching as it unfolds.